Hey everybody, this is Mr. Klein. I'm going to go through the changes in some of the procedures and rules that we've had over the summer here for the 2025-2026 school year. So just bear with me. Things you probably already know that the acronym RISE stands for Respect, Integrity, Safety, and Engage. It should say engagement. No one ever fixes this slide. As far as ways you can show respectfulness in the school day, probably the biggest change between last year and this year isn't actually all that big of a change, but the state has now passed laws that require that we do not allow cell phones within the building during the instructional times of the day. So that means that from 8:05 till 2:33, you cannot have your phone out. It cannot be out at all. It should be turned off. I know that you will probably want to try to find ways to avoid this. If you feel like you can't control yourself, putting it in your locker might be the safest place for it. Headphones are still not permitted in the hallways at any time. Your life is not so epic that it needs a soundtrack that is always playing. If I give you an assignment like the one you're currently doing, where I need you to listen to something and you don't want to listen to it on the speakers of your Chromebook, you can listen to your headphones to listen to your Chromebook, but that will only be allowed for those specific instructional purposes, and I have to be the one who gave you permission to do it. As far as what does the new policy look like in terms of the school, you now have to go to the office if you get caught with your phone out. It's not just that you're going to get a detention for having your phone out. After the first warning that I'm currently giving you to not have your phone out during any academic time, that includes in the hallway, that includes in study hall, and that even includes during lunch. After that, if you're caught with your phone, you will be sent down to the office and you will have to relinquish your phone to the office until the end of the school day. If you continue to have problems with this, you will not only be sent to the office, but your parent or guardian must come to pick your phone up. It will not be given back to you personally at the end of the day. And if it continues to be a problem beyond that, then that's more of a meeting between you and the administration. So hopefully we can all avoid that by just keeping our phones put away. Tardies are still a thing. Being tardy means that you're not in your class when you're supposed to be. There are warnings on the first two tardies. The third, fourth, and fifth tardies then incur actual consequences. The third tardy gets you your first detention. You get an additional detention on the fourth tardy. And after the fifth tardy, it then becomes an issue that the office has to take up. As far as being tardy in my class goes, the key thing here to remember is to be in your seat when the final bell rings. I understand that you want to stop and talk to people around you. That's perfectly fine. But as it's getting closer to the bell ringing, you need to be making your way directly to your seat and be in that seat by the time the bell rings, or you would be tardy. As far as leaving the classroom goes, you have to have a pink pass just like last year. That system's been fairly effective. I have the pink passes. You come up to me, you ask to leave, and tell me the reason why you need to leave. I'll start filling out your pass while you go over to the desk that is next to the door. There's a binder on that desk that you will sign out in. You'll sign out on a form that looks very similar to what you're seeing on the screen. As far as limits on those go, I try not to be the bathroom police or the water fountain police, but I will limit it to one boy and one girl out at any given time. So if one of your friends is taking too long in the bathroom, that is something you can take up with them. That is not something that I can be in control of. Another thing to keep in mind is that you do need to go to the closest restroom or water fountain that you sign out to. If you sign out to use the restroom and they find you in the band hallway when that is on the other side of the building from my classroom, then it doesn't matter that I gave you a pass to go to the bathroom. You're not supposed to be all the way down there to do it. There is a bathroom just down the hall from my room. As far as integrity goes, you might think, what is integrity? And integrity means that you are being honest about yourself, being honest about your worth, and being honest about what you produce in the classroom. As far as the dress code policy goes, that is unchanged. It's the same dress code that there has always been. The main issue in the dress code tends to perpetually be showing excessive skin. If you have an outfit and you put it on in the morning and you feel like you might get in trouble for that outfit, pick a different outfit. Also, if you have a hoodie on that you're constantly taking off that then creates a dress code problem, then that outfit is a problem. You'd have to go down to the office and get either clothes to borrow from the office or someone to bring you in a change of clothes. As far as the work you do in class, the purpose of education is to learn and grow and not to earn a specific grade. I get that the grades are the thing that you maybe care about a lot, your parents care a lot about, your future employers and or colleges you want to go to. They care a lot about that, but they care a lot about that because it shows your ability. You won't gain any new abilities if you're using AI, other people's work, copying and pasting online. It's not going to help you learn. So that grade is meaningless. It's great that it looks nice on paper, but eventually it will catch up to you. It might catch up to you on a test in this class. It might catch up to you later in life, but eventually it will catch up to you. Not doing the work, not actually doing the learning, not trying to understand things is not practicing good integrity. If you make mistakes, I mean, I know that no one wants to make mistakes, but that's a good thing. That's where learning actually happens. If you're never challenged, if it's never difficult, if you're not having a hard time with something, then you're not actually growing very much beyond where you started. I'd rather you try and make mistakes and try again. And even if you don't get it perfect ever, I would rather see you making an effort. And I will always make sure that if you're making an effort, you're not going to fail the class. The only time I've ever had students fail these classes is that they don't do the work. Either they get caught doing other people's work, turning in other people's work, or they don't do work at all. And yes, it is very hard for me to help you when the 9 weeks is closing out and you're like, Mr. Klein, what can I do to get my grades up? At that point, very little. But if you're trying and it's not clicking, come talk to me and we will work something out. AI, it's a thing. It's a thing that Google decided to just give you incredibly powerful tools in your student Google account that honestly border on replacing your brain in some ways. So I figured I'd run through what are good uses of AI and bad uses of AI. Good use of AI would be like brainstorming ideas for a project. You don't know where to start. You're having a hard time figuring out what you want to do for your project. AI can give you a bunch of like seed ideas, ways that you could approach making something, doing something, showing something. Having AI then make, do, or show that thing is a bad use of AI. AI is really good at making lists, organizing study materials, simplifying readings. You can take like a 200-year-old document and plug it into AI and say, hey, can you make this an easier to understand document? And it's going to change some of the words, and that's not going to necessarily help you on a test, but you might get the concepts better because they're in a more simplified language or a more contemporary language. Let's face it, people 300 years ago did not write and speak the way that people do today. Other really scary stuff that AI can do is you can plug a whole document into it and it'll turn it into a podcast of two fake people talking to each other like every podcast you've ever listened to. The only thing that's missing is ads for, BetterHelp and Pretty Litter. The key thing is if you're using AI to replace you having to learn, process, interact with the information, you're doing it wrong. In the short term, yay, you didn't have to write a 5-paragraph essay. In the long term, I'm going to catch on pretty quickly that the essays you're turning in don't match any of the other interactions we have, and then we're going to have a problem. As far as safety procedures go, from my classroom, you're going to exit the door to the left, go down the hall towards the cafeteria and down the stairwell. You'll use the emergency exit at the bottom of the stairwell to exit the building out the front courtyard, and we'll go and rally around the flag, and I will take attendance during any fire drill and or, hopefully not, real fire. During tornado drills, you'll exit the same direction. We'll go down the same set of stairs. We will then proceed through the commons all the way to the end to the doors by the Galt. You will then turn right just through those glass doors, and we will go into the hallway between the Galt and the gym because that is the place that has the fewest windows in the building. As you guys have been over ALICE procedures. Make sure you review the information on this slide to ensure that in the unfortunate reality of having to deal with a situation like that, you wouldn't freeze and you would know what to do. As far as being engaged in class, there's not a whole lot of special materials to bring. You need to bring your Chromebook, a notebook or paper, and something to write with every single day to class. Here you can find the Google Classroom join codes. If you hadn't already joined the Google Classroom, you can go ahead and use those codes to join the appropriate one. So you have the code here for the U.S. History class for the 10th graders and the code for the AP Government class for the 11th graders. We had some administrative changes over the summer, so you can now see that Mrs. Davis, who was the assistant principal is now the head principal. We still have Ms. Schaffner and Mr. Douglas as high school principals, and Mr. Furlong is now the 8th grade principal. We did update the discipline chart for which offenses get you which consequences, so feel free to review that. If you have any other questions, please let me know, and make sure that you answered all the questions that went along with this video.